There we go. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Got a lot coming your way on this Fantasy Friday. That's right, Mr. Drew Brees. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana. The weekend's upon us. Doesn't get much better than that. We're starting things off right today, too. We're going to hook up with the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc., joining us to start the show. What's up, Miguel?
Runs the Office of Management and Budget. She's from the great city of Clinton, Louisiana. And now I'm ordering a beer and getting ready to come back to the land of...
Beer?
Yeah, I was going to call New Orleans the land of milk and honey. I don't know if that's exactly the accurate way to say it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hey, what's this energy announcement from earlier in the week?
Well, listen, we haven't been able to do this in a minute. So let me describe it to you, and you tell me what this is in baseball terms, okay? It is a $1.4 billion announcement from a Canadian company, Woodlands Biofuel, that is going to build the world's largest carbon-negative waste-to-energy, in this case waste-to-hydrogen, plant in the world. It's going to take wood pulp and sugarcane waste, a.k.a. bagasse, and through an anaerobic process, turn it into natural gas. And it's going to sequester all the carbon. 110 permanent jobs, about 500 construction jobs, average salary about $90,000. So what do you give that?
I give that a solid, I'd say it's a double that they extended into a triple, diving into a Pete Rose dive into third base. I'd give it a little more gravy. The money's there, Michael, but the 110 jobs make it a triple.
Yeah, I like that. I would agree with that. I would call it a triple or a leadoff home run. Good momentum. What I like about it is that it's proving out this all of the above energy strategy that we're talking about. And I love that. I mean, the CEO said it well. He said, there's really no place else we could put this. You got the river, you got the geology, you got the workforce, you got the demand for the hydrogen. He said, really, there was no competition.
That's interesting. What would really be the competition? Maybe Texas?
It could be someplace else that has a big industrial base that wants to use the hydrogen. Texas would be an obvious one, but Texas doesn't have the same geology as Louisiana for carbon sequestration, for carbon capture. So it's really the fact that we have these alternating layers deep down of clay and soil that apparently are really good for storing the carbon that's a byproduct of this process. So I think it's the geology that actually is the ultimate sell on this.
Didn't you also make an announcement about an energy center?
Yeah. Well, yeah, by coincidence, at the same day at UNO, we had the groundbreaking, really the wall breaking, for the Louisiana Future Energy Center, which is going to be the headquarters for the all of the above clean energy movement that we're starting. So it's going to be where researchers, companies, students can all be together. And so it does a couple of things. It creates the opportunity for serendipity and meeting, but it also gives, us a physical headquarters for this, kind of a place to point the media to. And that's significant as well. And
that's at the beach, Elysian Fields at Lakeshore Drive by UNO, right?
Exactly. Second floor of the Lindsay Boggs Center. So it's one of the buildings that kind of front the lake on the back there.
What's that? Our poor man's version of the research triangle?
Well, let's call it the beginning of it. Yeah, I mean, you could say poor man, but it is what I firmly believe that if you're going to have something you're going to call a quote movement, that it's important to have a physical location or concrete place where you can say this is where it's happening.
Yeah,
it just makes it seem real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of literally plant the flag, and so That's what this is about. So it's going to be designed by EDR, one of the best architecture firms, design firms in the city. And UNO is a great hub, a great home for it. About 25 different partners. This was funded by our EDA grant that we got, the H to the Future, $75 million grant. So this is I wouldn't say this is a double or a home run. I would say this is building out the team.
Yeah.
This is laying the foundation. This is maybe building a new stadium.
Yeah, planting the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Michael, with the Four Seasons, and they've been open a while now, and then Caesars investment, it's almost $1 billion right there.
Yeah, I mean, you got $1 billion. Caesars is $500 million. Yeah, it's basically $1 billion right there. Then you got the new ferry terminal. Then you got the renovations that are going on at the aquarium. Then you got the work that we're doing on Canal Street and in French Quarter. The Superdome, of course. I think we're actually going to get a new city hall over the next few years. I think we totaled it up, Corey. It's about $3.5 billion of investment in downtown New Orleans. It's significant.
Boy, for me, the no-brainer for City Hall, Central City.
Yeah, it would really be, the Brown's Dairy site would have been a nice place to put it, right?
Yeah, or consolidate, some houses that are surrounded by blight and free up a few city blocks and build a new modern 2035, 2040 City Hall,
Yeah, or, or the other way to do it is you take Gallier Hall, which is so gorgeous, and you make that the ceremonial place. It's where you meet the mayor and have meetings. And then you take one of those office buildings right on Lafayette Square and use that as a modern facility for all the back office. There are a couple of ways to do this. All I know is that what we got right now, we're gonna clean it up for the Super Bowl, but that indeed is gonna be lipstick on a pig.
And how are other cities, building like? How is Nashville continuing to build buildings? How's Austin continuing to build buildings when other cities like Houston and Dallas or New Orleans, large vacancies in office towers?
Yeah, I think that I don't know of any downtowns now that are not having challenges. I mean, in fact, one of the pieces of legislation that we're pushing up here this week is there's national legislation that is, it's called like the Revitalizing Downtowns bill. I'm not getting the name right, but basically there would be a 20% credit to developers for the cost of converting office buildings to residential or hotel. It's just a recognition that even though people are slowly coming back to offices, we're overbuilt now as a country for the post-COVID world. So I think every place is having their challenges to some degree. I guess they're building in Nashville, but those were projects that were underway already, right? Even though it's booming. Dallas is still building, but they're building in North Dallas. I mean, it's the burbs, right?
Yep. Yeah, Denver, it's Cherry Creek.
Right. I mean, look, we're going, it's really interesting, Corey. You and I are about the same age. Growing up, I grew up in White Plains most of my life, and that was right near the PepsiCo headquarters and the IBM headquarters. It was these big suburban office parks. And then we said, no, with new urbanism, we're all going to move downtown. It's denser. It's better for the environment. It's more fun to live, work, play. And that was going pretty swimmingly until coronavirus.
Yeah, I was in White Plains and Rye about 2 weeks ago for a wedding at Westchester Country Club. It's pretty much a dump up there.
Yeah, it pretty much... Yeah, Whitey Plains. I had a great upbringing, great public high school.
You think?
But yeah, Whitey Plains. Yeah, we used to party on the Westchester Country Club golf course until the cops would come.
Yeah, I bet. No, pretty affluent area up there. Manhattan, Michael. My God, you can get stoned just walking the street or run over by an electric bike or a scooter. I don't care if weed's legal or not. I don't understand why people are smoking weed in the street in Manhattan. I mean, it just reeks. Ridiculous.
It's just rude. I mean, look, here's the thing
obnoxious.
weed. It's dank. I mean, you don't get rid of it. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So it's like making, same thing with like cigar bars, right?
Yep.
It's heavy.
No different. Or get run over by an electric bike or a scooter. Manhattan's a little different. Worse. Maybe I'm getting older. Hey, Miguel, safe travels. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, man. It's so noisy here.
That's all right. We'll visit next Friday, brother.
All right, my friend. Peace out. Have a great weekend.
Yep, you too. That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. joining us on the program. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, that segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant that's hiring right now. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. He officially turned 60 years old yesterday. Fletcher Mackel joins us. Happy 60th.
Thanks, Corey. It was a milestone.
Yep. How do you feel, 60? AARP, all that good stuff.
It's true. My brother and I are like Benjamin Button. We age backwards now.
I don't know so much about that. You look like you shrunk. Your brother looks an inch taller than you now. What's up with that?
Actually, I'm about an inch taller than him. Not even an inch, like a little less than an inch.
You're taller than him?
I am.
That isn't what the photo looked like yesterday by Manali's.
I think you should go back and check it out. I don't know. I disagree.
All right. Looked like he was taller than you, but what the hell do I know?
It could just be the angle.
Maybe so. Yeah, that's true. What did you guys have at Manali's?
I got the shrimp and grits. He got the barbecue shrimp. So we went for the traditional stuff, so to say.
Boy, that what is it? The oyster, the crab meat. I'm going blank. The pan roast. Wow, you've had the pan roast?
No, I didn't. I got some raw oysters from the bar. I had a dozen raw, and then I had a little shrimp and grits, and then we had a little birthday cake.
Yep, I know the barbecue shrimp's their signature dish, but I'm telling you, that combination pan roast, you get a little of that Leidenheimer French bread and we put a little lemon on it and scoop that on. Get that next time. You'll thank me.
I will take your word for it. I love Allie's.
Yep. I was just talking to Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. I was up in Manhattan, a wedding actually north of the city, Rye, White Plains, New York. And I was just saying, man, you walk the street of Manhattan today, you're either going to get run over by an electric bike, an electric scooter, or get high by just breathing the air. I mean, I don't care if weed's legal or not. I could care less. But it just reeks down there. And yesterday, I go down to Galatoire's in the Quarter. Same thing, man. I don't understand that. Just obnoxious behavior. Like I said, I don't care if people are smoking weed or not, or if it's legal or not. But why do people have to smoke out in public in the street? I mean, like if a grandma's around or children, I don't know, just sort of disrespectful. I'm not trying to be some fuddy-duddy. I just think it's obnoxious.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Again, because I've never really thought about it or had it's never, I guess it's never been so egregious that I've worried about it. But it's funny you mentioned New York. I spent a month in Paris, or almost a month in Paris at the Olympics. And it is amazing how much more bike friendly and I guess like public transportation friendly those places are. Like, I understand that. Look, sometimes you got to be careful in New York. You walk across the street and you got people. I have an electric bike. You got people on electric bikes flying around.
Yeah.
Same thing in Paris. Bikes and electric bikes. It's one of the things, because I do think, now again, look, I get it, potholes and streets that aren't great, but I've always felt like New Orleans could be such a more biking city. Like getting from my house to WDSU on the Lafitte Greenway is a piece of cake. Like, it's one of the things sometimes when I go, and I get it, Paris and New York are two of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I love the fact when you go there and you see people walking and biking in far more public transportation. It's one of the things I envy about some of those places.
No doubt. But Manhattan, I'm like, I guarantee you, every week someone gets run over by an electric bike or someone runs over someone on an electric bike. I mean, it would be like you taking your electric bike down Bourbon Street at night and doing like 15-mile-an-hour clip. It's just like inevitable you're going to hit somebody within a block or two. I just, and then the little like skateboard gimmicks, the little scooters. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, man, it's just crazy. It's different. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm a fuddy-duddy, Fletch.
No, look, I'll say this. Like, I was in Manhattan back, I think, in January, visiting some people, and it was like when you cross certain streets, especially some of the major arteries. I mean, look, it's not every neighborhood. Like, if you're in the East Village, it's not like or the West Village, it's not like people are like running you over.
No,
like when you're like on
Midtown.
Broadway or Fifth Avenue or something like that, or First. Like, I stayed like on the Lower East Side, right off of First, and it was like, man, you better be heads up crossing the street.
Yep.
Because you're right. There's a lot of the one wheels and these scooter things and everything coming through. But again, I don't mind it as much because I wish we had more of it. Like, I'm not saying I want to see people get run down here, but I just think like we have a city that has a footprint that would allow it, and and we just don't see enough of it. I mean, you could go from the lake, Canal Street, from the lake to the river. I feel like we should see Canal Street to Canal Boulevard, and I mean, look, Elysian Fields will take you from the river to the lake, and yet we don't see anybody in those bike paths and bike lanes. Like, it's one of the things that I think we have done a poor job pushing, promoting, and kind of investing in.
No, and then the places we do it, a lot of the time there's no bicycles there, like turning Barone into a one-lane street in the CBD and just clogging it up, or Gentilly Boulevard having 2 lanes instead of 3. Have 3 lanes and have that one, far lane as the bike lane where if there's a bike, they have the right of way. But if there is no bike, it's a car lane, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm all for bicycle lanes. They've just got to be put in the right spot. Lafitte Greenway is a perfect example.
Yeah, look, I love the Lafitte Greenway. I live right on the bayou, so I really love it. And if I take my bike or electric bike, it's so easy to go from City Park in the bayou to downtown on a safe way. And then they do have the bike lane there. Like, again, it's a completely underutilized resource. Yep. But again, I think it takes visionary leadership to push that and to promote that and to not just say, hey, we've blocked off streets for it, do it. Like, it has to be more than just that.
I'm glad you said visionary leadership and not visionary leadership in New Orleans, because the radio and television may have imploded.
So, yeah.
All right.
Like I said, I'm always hopeful for the best in our city. So,
yeah, no, you're a positive force. You're not cynical, jaded, or negative. So, no, that's a good thing.
I mean, I can be, but I try not to be.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I got you beat on all of those 3 in spades. All right, you mentioned what you had at Manali's. I went to Galatoire's with a couple of other couples, and we got the crab meat, the shrimp remoulade, the souffle potatoes. Then I got a cup of seafood gumbo and the trout amandine, the speckled trout amandine. Just traditional good New Orleans stuff. How do you go wrong with any of those dishes?
Dude, I love Galatoire's. I mean, and Galatoire's 33. I mean, I love them both. But I'll say this. Galatoire's is one of those, like, some places, and I'm not going to name names, I think become victims of nostalgia, so to say, where they're leaning too hard into the past and they need to upgrade or tweak here and there. I've just always felt like Galatoire's. I mean, if you're, a Friday lunch, I love when people have birthdays or big events. I mean, I think it's one of those places that does not, changing it would be sacrilege. So it's one of those things that I love everything about it. And it's not like I go all the time, but when I do go, I think this is like a New Orleans treasure. I'm
on the 33 side. I have absolutely zero interest of being there today on the Galatoire's side. Zero. I avoid that like it's a disease. Loud, obnoxious.
I feel like, again, a couple of times a year with the right people for the right events. Like, I went there with, some journalist friends that you know as well, and we went for somebody's birthday, and we did the 5-hour lunch and it was like you're talking to people at the other table. Do I want to do it every Friday? No, but I feel like I do enjoy doing it a couple of times a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've done it a few times, and that's enough for me. It seems like the same old party on rinse and repeat. I love Galatoire's, but I like the 33 side. Plus, you don't have to wear a jacket. You can kind of go casual on the right side of the building.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I've had some great steaks there, and it's a great place. I agree.
Yep. Hey, Fletch, we got a lot to discuss. Saints, LSU, Tulane, Pelicans. before we get into any of that, you're a baseball player. You played high school and college baseball. You know, you love the game. We're not really a baseball city, more of a college baseball city than MLB. Ohtani, have you ever seen anything like last night? Some are saying the greatest single performance in the history of baseball last night.
50-50's never been done. You can make an argument that he's already, and this isn't like, I mean, look, there's a lot of great baseball players, and because we don't have a major league team, I am not the major league aficionado, so to say, but I do like baseball. I still play in an over 35 men's baseball league. I look, he's one of one. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. 50-50 has never been done. 50 stolen bases, 50 home runs. I mean, last night he goes 6 for 6 and hits 3 home runs to get there. And here's the thing. He's also a great pitcher. He can't pitch this year because he had Tommy John surgery, but he throws 100 miles an hour and is a great pitcher. He is truly a force of nature, one of one. He's going to be remembered as one of the all-time greats. And you can make an argument that the talent level, pitching and hitting, he is arguably the greatest baseball player since Babe Ruth, and maybe surpassing Babe Ruth. And I know there's purists and traditionalists that would hear that, but no one has done it the way he's done it, and he's not even close to being done. I mean, it's remarkable.
No, he does it for 2 or 3 more years. He might be the greatest baseball player ever. I mean, the 50-50 is almost an incidental last night. You mentioned 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBI, 10, and he had a couple of stolen bases, almost 3. You know, obnoxious, just crazy good. Fletch, we're going to knock out a quick break, come back, talk a little Tulane and the bubble and some other stuff as well. Fletcher Mackel's with us on a Fantasy Friday. Fridays with Fletch. Corey Johnson with you. Don't move, New Orleans. We're coming right back. Got a lot to cover, including Frank Brigsten in the 5 o'clock hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Young's Dry Cleaning's been with you since 1940. Tough to beat Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution. Walk-up locations, that's old school. Free pickup and delivery, kind of today's preferred method. And then they've even got the future of dry cleaning, these manless locker locations all over the city, maybe like right under your nose where you work or live and you didn't even know it was there. To find out about Young's manless locker locations known as Young's Express, go online, youngsdrycleaning.com, or call them, 288-8381, 288-8381. Young's Dry Cleaning, youngsdrycleaning.com. Fletcher Mackel could use some dry cleaning. The maroon suit and the green suit's a little wrinkled. Oh, boy.
I haven't worn the maroon and the green. Maybe I'll wear it this weekend. Thanks for giving me the heads up. I may pop it out of the closet.
I think at Christmas you need to do like the red pants and the green top, maybe. Like, integrate the suits.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out. All right, Fletch, how many suits do you own, you think? Because, you're on TV. You can't have the same outfit every day. You know what blows me away? Like these women, what do they have, 365 outfits? Some of these anchors? I never see them wearing the same thing twice.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm always amazed too by some of my, some of the people that I work with. But how many outfits do you have? Because I probably have a dozen suits, and I don't wear them all. Like I've got some traditional navy blue, black, charcoal that I can wear, and you can change them up with shirts and ties and stuff like that. Men, it's so much easier. But yeah, I probably have a dozen between suits and sports coats. I probably have a dozen things that I wear on TV.
How many button-down Oxford type shirts?
Probably less. I probably have I wear mostly white or like light blue. So I've probably got 6 whites, 4 light blues, and then 4 kind of with a light pattern, a very nondescript kind of light, like a white with some blue stripes that you can barely notice, So probably 12 to 15 shirts.
How about ties?
I got a lot more ties. I cleaned out. Remember Chill the barber? He used to have. He passed away. He used to have a mentorship program in Sunny Lee at Son of a Saint. Obviously they can use ties for young men that are getting jobs. So every few years I'll go through and get rid of ties. And I feel like when I was younger, I used to get a lot more. Now I I would probably say I have 50 ties. In every 2 to 3 years, I get rid of a dozen or more, I'll see one and buy a new tie here and there. And then just kind of every 2 or 3 years, I try to go through my closet and think, if I haven't worn it in a year, it's going to Goodwill or Son of a Saint or some other entity that could use it more than I could.
Do you have a place where you like picking up all that stuff, or you just go random spots?
Random spots. And like in today's world, since our phones track us and technology is like stalking us, I think the apps on my phone pop up like suit sale, tie sale, shoe sale, this. And now like on Instagram and stuff, I'll order ties off of Instagram, just give it a go. And if I wear one of them, it's great. You know what I mean? And so, or if I'm in a store and it's like, oh, there's a Labor Day suit sale. It's like, do I need a suit? But let me get one. And then I'll rotate one out next year or something. So no rhyme or reason. Unfortunately, I don't have like a go-to place, person, entity that I say this is the only place that does my suits.
Boy, the intranet device is crazy. I'm just giving you an arbitrary example. A few years ago, I bought a gun, like a Glock 17, and I ordered some ammunition online. All I get now are emails about guns and friggin' ammunition. It's obnoxious. I'm like, dude, I haven't even shot this gun yet. When I go to the range, I shoot the gun that the guy who's training me uses. It's like, stop sending me ammo and gun info. It's just over the top, man. A buddy and I are talking about something, and then he starts getting emails on that topic. It's like eavesdropping over the phone. It's crazy.
No, I'm telling you, I'll have a discussion with my brother. You and I are talking about baseball. I guarantee my Instagram feed is going to be Ohtani and MLB now more than not. And then if I search something like I jokingly said, I play in that baseball league.
Yep.
I remember last year I ordered cleats, and the next thing I know, I'm getting buy bats and gloves and ball, all these ads, and it's like, okay, it's crazy.
No, and then you click on something yeah, maybe I'll buy those pair of pants. Then you're like, and you don't buy them. And then you keep getting emails. Do you want to buy the pants? No, I would have bought them when I was on it. No, I don't want to buy the pants. Stop sending me emails about the pants.
Yeah, 100%. No, it really is. It's crazy and kind of fascinating. I would agree.
That's a good way to put it. It's totally crazy yet fascinating that the tech is like that. Hey, Tulane, I think they're moving backwards, Fletch. I think there's not a commitment like there used to be. Everybody, wants to get on Willie Fritz. He left Tulane. He abandoned Tulane. Fritz was going to Georgia Tech. Tulane stepped up and said, we're going to build this indoor practice facility bubble right off by the Riley Center, and we're going to build a $50+ million football operations center kind of connected to the Wilson Center with 12 suites overlooking, Yeoman Stadium, a 13,000 square foot weight room, a training room with those recovery pools, locker rooms, football offices, meeting rooms. There's no timeline anymore. The bubble was supposed to already be open. They're supposed to break ground in December of this year for the football operations complex. Now it's just sort of, going backwards. I think Tulane, honestly, is like, how can we get away with not doing this stuff? I've talked to some folks. John Summerall's not happy with all this. Promises are being broken, and it's excuse-making BS on Ben Weiner Drive, in my opinion. What's your take?
I don't know if I feel as harsh as you do. And again, I know Tulane people are going to like hearing this. But I'm not trying to blame him for everything, because if I can give a more detailed answer, even if we have to go to the next segment, I will. I do blame a lot of this on Troy Dennon, because look, I told you and a lot of people he's a con man. He's blowing smoke up everybody's what. There is no bigger BSer than him, and there's no bigger self-promoter than him. And I always told people, I'll believe this stuff happens when this dude gets shovels in the ground, because there's people swearing it's going to happen. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. I just don't think so. And so I almost relish now what David Harris is doing. It reminds me a little bit more of Rick Dixon of we're going to take a realistic, tempered approach to this. Like, yes, the football operations, I've seen the schematics for it. It looks amazing. I hope they can get that done. I've always thought the bubble in front of the Riley Center was the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like, they utilized that space for tailgating, for rec sports, for students hanging out. I always thought, so you're going to have a small, not full-sized field in a inflatable bubble and take away space that the Tulane community uses. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And Troy Dannon just kept pumping it to people who were gassed up, and he just kept gassing them up. And I will say this, though. I do think there needs to be some kind of plan. And I do think it should involve the Rosen lot where the Rosen House dorm was. And that to me, and I've told you this on your show, I've told everybody who'll listen, that is the only spot that viably makes sense, because they could build a structure that's, say, 5 to 7 stories. They can keep the surface level parking. The first 2 or 3 floors can be parking, and then floors 4, 5, 6, and 7 can be a full-size football complex. Look at the Loyola Recplex. Like, Loyola's Recplex is now like 40 years old almost, and it's a perfect example of what they should build. Parking on the first 3 to 4 floors, and then on top, and that gets Tulane everything they want from an indoor facilities need. But the problem is I think Dannon had one foot out the door for so many years and just kept kind of lying to everyone, saying the bubble's coming, it's going to happen, the bubble's coming, showing people renderings and talking about it, knowing he wasn't going to ever have to deal with it. So there was just no infrastructure in place. There was no real plan. There was a lot of rhetoric, but nothing was reality under Troy Dannon. And now I almost feel sympathetic for David Harris of, hey, you're starting with bad plans and bad ideas and a gassed up fan base that's been winning a lot lately, and you have to deal with the realities of this. And at least he's not lying and gassing everybody up the way Troy Dannon did. But I do think moving off of the stupid bubble idea in front of the Riley Center is the most common sense thing I've heard Tulane people talk about and admit in a long time. And pivoting to something on Claiborne, even if they have to go and work with the city council and work with the neighbors and take more years to get it done. Look, with all due respect, I love John Summerall. I think John Summerall is an amazing coach, and we're going to be talking about him for a long time in college football. He may be a one and done anyway. Willie Fritz wasn't staying here because Willie Fritz, the Houston job was always the one Willie Fritz wanted. Willie Fritz had Georgia Tech people, just to kind of add to your story, Georgia Tech people went nuts when they found out it was Willie Fritz, and their people got cold feet. So that was another reason why he didn't go to Georgia Tech, because they hired the assistant coach. Fritz was not going to pick Tulane over Houston in any world. There was no alternate universe where he was staying at Tulane. If John Summerall, who I think is awesome and is going to be an amazing coach at Tulane and is going to ascend way higher than anybody expects, if he leaves after a year or two, no being upset now about, sure, he should be upset.
Hey, hold that thought, Fletch. Hold that thought. You predicted it. We're going to have to carry this into the next segment. Fletcher Mackel's with us. Stick around, New Orleans. He's got a lot to say. Don't move.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard. On Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
That's what I said. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District. Last night at dinner, Leidenheimer French bread, hot, room temperature butter, tough to beat, piping hot Leidenheimer French bread with some good butter, or some olive oil with some cracked black pepper and salt. Leidenheimer French bread, it truly is good to the last crumb. The official French bread of New Orleans, the official po' boy French bread of New Orleans. They've been doing it since 1896. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Fletcher Mackel's with us from WDSU Channel 6 Sports. Fletch, please continue.
No, so again, sorry, thank you for letting me rant. What I just think is that I think David Harris, and again, look, I'm not saying this is all fact. This is a lot of opinion based on some facts, just like you hear things and stuff. I just think, and there's too many good people. Look, I love what that collective is doing, what Ordno and Erotic are doing.
The NIL? Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, the whole NIL deal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I said, what Erotic and Ordno, what all these guys are doing is amazing. And the work they're doing and the momentum Tulane has. Everything is going great. The problem is you did have you had an AD that I don't think, not to say, it's not like he wasn't absentee, but it was more about him in the next gig and just go along, get along. Instead of, look, we work in an industry, in journalism, and the ultimate mantra is seek the truth. I don't think Troy Gannon had any interest in telling anybody the truth ever. It was just say what they want to hear. You won't have to deal with it, and that's it. That's what he did. And now, that's why I said I feel almost sympathetic towards David Harris in some ways, because he now has to deal with the realities of the false narratives that Troy Gannon left everybody with, and the promises that weren't even close to being a reality. And he's the one who has to raise the funding, deal with the university, deal with the city, deal with the neighbors. And again, it can all get done. I still think, for you and I have been talking about this for years. It was, they'll never be able to build a stadium on campus. Well, they built a stadium on campus. And Rick Dixon and Betsy Becker did some amazing work fundraising. And it took years. And it was painful at times dealing with all that stuff. But they got it done. They can get a practice facility on Claiborne Avenue that is a spectacular, that like all these front office sports will be doing stories on, look at Tulane's complex and how amazing it is.
I think you mentioning that Loyola Rec Center is a perfect example.
But like this, but a better,
yeah,
bigger,
of course,
awesome,
no, and that's amazing
version of it.
Yep.
Like all these people that say, "Oh, the Rosen," like again, you can keep the Rosen lot. You can build up. You can keep all the surface level parking, and you build up, and you make a second and third floor of parking. And there, boom, right away, we have more parking on campus. And then on top of that, the next 3 floors are the weight room and the indoor facility. Everything that you need is right there, connected to campus, walking distance. But again, Troy Gannon didn't want to touch that because that was real decision making. That was real work that had to be done. And that was going to be probably way too much of a headache for someone that had 1 foot out the door.
Yep.
Now the real leaders have to deal with that and do that. And so you're right. They've regressed because of the lies that were told and kind of the fake status that was given, so to say.
No, I think I like a lot of your angle, and I like your points. And Dannon's so flaky. Tulane, Washington, Nebraska. He doesn't know where he wants to go. That stop it. If you're at Washington, you're probably like, thank God he's gone. But now over at Nebraska, it is a Fantasy Friday, Fletcher. You might as well dream big. I've mentioned before the New Orleans Center parking garage. Gail Benson now owns that. It was by the old Lord and Taylor. It was the part of that shopping center. It was built to put a high-rise building on top of it. You could put like a 20-story skyscraper on top of that garage. It's got that foundation. So since it is Fantasy Friday, the icing on the cake would be above that football facility, a nice basketball arena. But maybe I'm drinking and I don't really drink. But anyway.
No, but let me say this. That's what I love. I like dream big, shoot those moonshots, because you're right. Why not? Fogelman is it's quirky and it's cute. It's got history. But you're right. If you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars, upwards of let's just call it 50 to 100 million on a new complex, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you make it another story and build a brand new, and just go knock it out the park and say, hey, look, think of what we've got a couple of floors below us. We got an indoor football facility. Now we got again, I'm not saying you have to do that, but I love that idea because that to me is more plausible than people probably think.
No, and Rosen Hall was like 8 or 9 stories, so it's not like you're getting crazy. But having parking, a basketball arena, the football complex, an indoor facility would put Tulane on the map, being real, major conference affiliation, all of the above. All right, Fletch, we're running out of time. Saints alive, my God. Kubiak, he's going to be in Bacchus or Endymion if he's not careful.
Yeah, look, he's got the magic wand right now. What he's doing makes Pete Carmichael and all those guys tied to Sean Payton. It certainly looks like it was all Payton, and it may have been all Breeze.
Yeah.
But Kubiak, what he's done, let's hope they can keep it going. I think they're going to beat Philly this week. But it's pretty exceptional what he's done in just 2 short weeks.
Belichick isn't even coaching right now. Sean Payton's 0 for 2. As time goes on, it's Brady and Breeze more than Belichick and Payton.
There's no doubt. Look, the longer you look at it, you kind of start saying, okay, like, yeah, not to say that they're not good, but that the alphas that were leading those teams, certainly Breeze and Brady are going to come out of this looking better than anybody when the dust all settles.
Yeah, no doubt. They're Hall of Fame first ballot guys, without a doubt. Fletch, always a pleasure.
All right, Corey, thanks for letting me rant. You got me gassed up today.
Yeah, man, you're the man. I love all the comments and opinions, and especially with a lot of info to back it up. See you next week.
All right, thank you.
That's Fletcher Mackel, Channel 6, WVSU sports anchor, sports director, owner of 50 ties, a dozen suits. I didn't even get into the shoes. Oh, boy. 5 o'clock powwows. That's right, Blue Boy. That's right. Frank Brigsten will join us in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere in New Orleans. We're just getting started.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Damn, Blue.
Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It is total maintenance keeps you cool. Never said it is. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Never said it is. Total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot. Never said it is. Total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save you colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
I was in Art and Eyes on Magazine earlier this week. It honestly is one of the finest eyewear shops in the country. Something you'd find like in New York or San Francisco. And incredible value, too. Highest quality, all different price points at Art and Eyes. They've got a basket full of frames, and you can see the retail price. Because a lot of this stuff is super high-end. Frames from like Japan, from Europe, from the United States, and none of this Luxottica stuff. Stuff that you might be wearing like Oakley or Ray-Ban or Persol. They're all made by the same people. It is literally Chinese-made garbage now. I used to love Persol. I used to love those glasses. Not anymore. They're just not well made. The acetate they use is substandard. Most of it's made in China. They will literally ship the stuff from China to Italy, and then some Chinese factory in Italy, they'll put the pieces together so they can say, made in Italy. If you don't believe me, Google Luxottica. You know, there's, Maui Jim? Pretty good quality sunglasses. Luxottica's like, we want to buy you. Maui Jim's like, we don't want to sell. Luxottica's like, okay, then we're taking you out of all our shops. Sears Optical, Sunglass Hut, all these eyewear shops and malls and stuff, all owned by Luxottica. It's like a big monopoly. They control like 90% of sunglasses, prescription glasses, and it's garbage. You know, I got a new prescription about 3 years ago. I was like, man, I don't want to go to the mall. I don't want Luxottica. I don't want, Ray-Ban used to be high quality USA made stuff. Now it's Chinese garbage. I don't mean to bum you folks out that have these glasses. It's just true. Revo, I loved Revo. Italian made? No, Revo's Chinese made garbage. Luxottica. Google it. So anyway, I'm like, there's got to be something better. And I go online and on Google, I'm like, high-end eyewear shop in New Orleans. Art and Eyes pops up right away. I hadn't even heard of it. I head over there, Magazine, the Riverside of Magazine, in between Louisiana and Napoleon. Absolutely unbelievable. Like these glasses. I used to have like one pair of prescription glasses, one pair of prescription sunglasses. I got 3 pairs of prescription glasses, about to have a 4th, because I was in Art and Eyes this week, and just the frames are incredible. The great staff that helps you. I pick up about 5-6 frames, narrow it down to 1. No, it is off the charts great. Everything they have is fantastic. And the prices like I said, all different price points. I mean, some of these frames, just the frames, can be $500, $600, $700, $800 for just the frames. Art and Eyes has a basket on the counter that has about, I'm going to guess 100, 150 frames in that basket. And they have the sticker of what that frame costs originally. $600, $700, $800 frames. The frames are free when you get the prescription lenses put in them at Art and Eyes. They'll go. You heard Fletcher last hour? I have my ties. I've got 50 or 60 of them. Every year I pull about a dozen out that I'm not wearing, and I give them to son of a saint. Art and Eyes does the same thing. Everything they have in there is super high quality, lasts for years and years and years with just the simple amount of care. And some of those styles, either there's another brand that people are buying, or for some reason they just didn't sell. And they go through their inventory. There's got to be thousands and thousands of glasses and lenses to frames to choose from. And they literally, some that maybe aren't moving for 6 months, 9 months, a year, they'll put them in this basket. And literally the frames are free when you get prescription lenses put in those frames. They're trying to move those frames out of the shop. I went through some the other day. I was like, and I'd already picked out a pair, and they're getting done. But I'm telling you, I might go back this week and go through that entire batch of like 150 frames, because for just a few $100 putting in the prescription lenses, the frames are free. And some of them are close to $1,000 frames. Made in Japan, handcrafted in Japan. You'll feel the quality. You'll see the quality right away. This isn't some like radio, TV commercial where I'm talking nonsense. You'll agree with me when you go. You'll be like, boy, Corey's right. Super high quality. From Europe, from Japan, from Germany, from the United States. Designers and brands you've probably never heard of, but higher quality, better everything for the acetate, the metal that's used for the frames, everything. I mean, titanium, and just incredible. If you wear prescription glasses, if you need sunglasses, if you like just wearing a clear lens, just like a fashion thing, you owe it to yourself to go to Art and Eyes, especially folks that have prescription glasses like me. Been wearing prescription frames for 40 plus years. Sunglasses, transition lenses, prescription glasses, Art and Eyes on Magazine, in between Napoleon and Louisiana on the riverside of Magazine. Art and Eyes. Google them. Google them. Better yet, go by there. Incredible eyewear. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Holy smokes. I think fall officially starts Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. We're still a few weeks away for fall in New Orleans. Heading into late September, I mean, you know the drill. Starts getting hot in May. Even late April can get hot, but usually May. And then we don't get out of this summer thing until October locally. So we're probably about 3 weeks away from finally, not so hot. Now, we've done pretty well as far as like 70s to start the day and only getting into like the mid 80s. Today was like going back in time, like about a month. Today was 90s, 90 plus degrees. I think it's about 90 right now. And this morning, midday, outside, pretty brutal. I mean, thank goodness a little breeze blowing. But boy, like 90 plus degrees earlier today. I thought we had jettisoned the 90s, but apparently not. So lots of agua, stay hydrated. Hey, speaking of Evermore. Yeah, you see the big bottle? New Orleans' own Evermore. Tough to beat Evermore water. Artesian, high alkaline water, naturally alkaline. This water is literally thousands of years in the making. Impenetrable rocks protecting it. About 35, 40 miles from the French Quarter, from the Dome in Covington. The Evermore water plant sits right on top of the aquifer. They pull the water up, they bottle it. The only time it touches the air when you bust open the cap. A lot of folks discovered Evermore because water was getting cleared off the shelves a few weeks ago when Francine was rolling into town. Didn't even know what Evermore was. Now they know. And now, like me, all they drink is Evermore water. At work, at home, only Evermore water, New Orleans own. Clearly better water. And maybe the best water on earth. Evermore, EVAMOR. Home delivery, office delivery, Evermore.com. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Plus, they're at Rouse's everywhere. Corey Johnson with you, 5 o'clock powwow on a Fantasy Friday. Blowing that 5 o'clock whistle. Toot, toot, toot. Because the work week's in the books. It's a little after 5 on a Friday. Weekend right in front of us. Gotta love that. That 5 o'clock whistle, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Have you been to Katie's? Iberville Corner, Tallahassee. Go check them out tonight. Scott Craig will have some great local seafood, some chef-driven dishes, a true taste of New Orleans. Literally as New Orleans as it gets. 5 o'clock whistle, appropriately brought to you by Katie's. Why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now? Hey, speaking of food and New Orleans food, I love a Friday. I mean, we tell it like it is on this program every weekday afternoon. Don't hold back. You know, best compliment I ever got, Corey doesn't give a blank. And it wasn't like Corey doesn't care. It's Corey doesn't care where the chips fall. I avoid the big shots. I don't befriend the politicians. I'm fortunate. I got family and friends. So no, I'm lucky. So I take people to task. I give praise when it's due, and I bash when it's due. I don't hold back, and I'm not worried about, offending somebody, because chances are if I'm talking about it, they're wrong and they deserve it. But I love just sort of decompressing on a Friday. Like right now, when we come back, Frank Brigsten joins us, talking food from his world-class restaurant, Brigsten's. Don't move.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Canada.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Hey, every day this program on radio, television, live on YouTube, the Nutriground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every day it's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. The big store, Lamarck Ford. Why would you go anywhere else for a Ford vehicle? They've only been at it 45 years. Lamarck Lincoln, the #1 Lincoln dealership in the state. And if you need a commercial truck or vehicle, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. I love this time of the week on a Friday. Doesn't get much better than this. And boy, it doesn't get much better than Brigsten's, his restaurant. Frank Brigsten joins us on the program. Happy Friday, Frank.
Corey, TGIF. How about them Saints, Cap?
Jeez and Pete's. That Clint Kubiak, huh? He's going to be riding in Bacchus and Endymion if he's not careful. I was telling Fletcher Mackel that.
It looks like a whole new team, brand new. I love it.
Yep.
We deserve it.
Yep. It's maximizing the talent that's there. It'd be like you pulling me in as sous chef at Brigsten's. It wouldn't be a good idea. But if you're like, Corey, go outside and grill a few steaks for us, I might be able to pull that off on the Weber grill. You gotta put people where their strengths are, and Kubiak's maximizing Carr, huh?
No question about it. And you know who really deserves it? Derek Carr. I mean, he's been in this league a long time, and he's got talent. He's just glowing right now with the success he's having.
And then look at Alvin Kamara.
He's back.
NFC Offensive Player of the Week, 180 yards from scrimmage, 4 touchdowns. Holy smokes.
Unbelievable. I love it. I hope it stays that way.
Yep.
It will.
Hey, Frank, it's a Friday. Sunday, I think, is the first day of fall, but in these parts, that doesn't really change the seasons. We may have a few more weeks before kind of some summer things fade out and some fall things fade in food-wise, right?
Yeah, that's right. Chef Nick and I were talking about that yesterday. I think for us, for me anyway, fall really starts around World Series time. That's when we start to see satsumas. And when you see satsumas on the side of the road, that means it's fall in Louisiana.
That's a good barometer. I like that.
Yep.
Satsumas mean fall.
When I used to fish every Monday down in Oakdale. For 25 years I did that. And when I was driving down to St. Bernard, if I saw the Satsumas, it determined where I would fish. I'd start fishing my fall spots inside, close to the dock, and follow the fish,
Wow.
So Satsumas are a real beacon of fall for me.
Wow. Nothing like good Satsumas. Hey, what's going on at the restaurant? I guess culinary is done for the year, right?
Exactly. And that is what's happening. We ran, an extensive culinary menu, and it's done now. We had a great time with it. It's successful, fun. But we're back to our regular menu. And I did something for culinary I had never done in all these years. I took butternut shrimp bisque off the menu because some creative chef decided to put 2 soups on the culinary menu, and I could only run 3 at a time. So butternut shrimp is back, and that's something that we're well known for. People crave it. We had people say, "Where's the butternut bisque?"
I bet.
So that's back, and when you take something off and then bring it back, you have a whole new appreciation of it. So that's a win-win right there. Butternut shrimp bisque. Your steak dish is back. 6-ounce filet, certified Angus beef, grilled with tasso, Marchand Duval sauce, and that's garnished with fried shallot rings.
All I can say about that sauce, Frank, it's like the parting of the Red Sea. You cut a little bite, you run the fork through it, you can see the clean plate underneath because the sauce is on your steak. As you take that bite, the sauce slowly but surely starts coming back together. It's like a sticky, tacky, just incredible, tasty sauce that I think you could put it on cinder blocks and paper clips and it would be good.
Thank you. Yeah, we really love it. It's so deep in flavor, and it's really a classic French Marchand Duval sauce, which means merchant of wine. And so it's made with red wine and a rich stock, mushrooms, shallots, green onions, and a little roux. The difference is the French would use ham, and we're using tasso, smoked pork, to give it a little more spice and a little more flavor, and I just love it. I'm going to be making some tasso this weekend.
Now, you said they use ham. Tasso is ham. What's the difference between regular ham and tasso?
Seasoning.
Wow.
Tasso to me is not ham. It's cured smoked pork. So today I bought a pork butt. I'm going to slice it about an inch thick, and then I make a tasso rub, which is a seasoning mix, and I pound that seasoning into the meat, and then I dry age it for 2 days, 48 hours, and turn it after 1 day. And what the curing process does, Corey, is it draws moisture out of the meat, and the seasoning goes into the meat. And then I smoke it the best I can. I like to co-smoke it first and then really pound it with some hickory chips. And so that's the way I learned how to make it from Chef Paul. And it's a seasoning meat more than a ham. You wouldn't want to slice it and make a sandwich with it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But that sauce is very, very good with a nice ham, like Giuseppe's or something like that. I was making it with a ham I found in the grocery called Frick's, Frick. Check that out. That's a really nice product. It's a small, like a pound package, and it's a lovely, delicious ham. But it's pre-sliced. It's really easy to work with, no matter what you're going to do with it. Frick's.
Yeah, when you were spelling that, the FCC alarm almost went off.
I've only done that once.
Hey, and then what? You cube up that tasso?
Yes. We cut it into long strips and then slice it thin, so you have thin little squares. And what that does is it creates more surface area. And so when you brown the tasso, which is the first step in the sauce, you really maximize in your flavor. That lays a good foundation.
Does it just sort of melt away?
No, it's still there. You'll see pieces of tasso in there. And then we add onions, shallots, mushrooms, green onions, garlic, the stock, and then thicken with just a little bit of blonde roux.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, a lot of folks are like, I'm not going to Brigsten's to get a filet, Corey. I'm not going to Brigsten's to get chicken. When you have chicken on the menu, I'm like, I recommend it, that airline chicken breast. You know, and then the filet, thank goodness that's on the menu. I mean, some folks look at that as like sort of like, oh, you have a steak on the menu, just have a steak on the menu. I'm like, it's as good as anything on the menu at Brightson's. Frank doesn't cut corners to put something on there to appease folks. Frank puts something on the menu because it kicks butt.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and thank you for that. You know, for me, a steak, if I'm going to put a sauce on a steak, I like Marchand du Vin or Béarnaise or garlic butter. They really complement the steak, but having a steak in the menu is really an effort to give a well-rounded menu. You know, you have choices. You have roast duck, you have a pork chop, you have steak, you got a couple of different kinds of fish, and Brigsten seafood platter, also known as the Shell Beach diet. And I got a new thing on the seafood platter I'll tell you about too. We had been doing, you know, the seafood platter has like 5 or 6 different things on it, and we had been doing crab meat creoles, but since Hurricane Francine, crab meat has been really difficult to get, especially jumbo lump. Impossible, really. So, you know, you get a situation like that, you change it up. So last night I made a new dish called blackened tuna fish salad. It's like tuna salad, but it's made with fresh yellowfin tuna that's blackened and then cubed, and I mix a little bit of grated hard-boiled egg and a homemade green onion dressing. I add a little Tabasco to it, and we're serving that with a slice of cucumber on the seafood platter. It is delicious. I just asked the front of the house, the servers, if they liked it. They all went, oh my God, it's so good. It's a cool idea, and really, really like that. So that's a new one on the seafood platter.
What are the other 4 items or so on that seafood platter? By the way, none of it's fried.
No, none of it's fried. We have 2 baked oysters always. One is baked oyster LaRousse with shrimp and crab meat. The other is a fennel baked oyster. We have shrimp cornbread baked to order with jalapeno smoked corn butter. The blackened tuna fish salad, and then grilled redfish with crab meat and lemon crab sauce.
Wow, unbelievable. Frank Brigtsen's with us on a Friday afternoon. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, New Orleans, don't go anywhere. Hey, this weekend, when it's time to check out the Saints, LSU, Tulane, Pelicans coming soon, head to legendary Tracy's. New location, bigger and better than ever. Tracy's Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Check it out with friends. Tracy's on Magazine. Coming right back. More with Frank. We'll be back in a second. Frank?
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. Should be good weather over the weekend. Knock out that paint project. Benjamin Moore, high-quality paint. Paint your house once. You'll never, ever have to paint it again. Lifetime paint from Helm Paint and Decorating. 7 locations, free 2-hour delivery so you can keep working. Hey, Baton Rouge, 4 Helm Paint and Decoration, decorating locations in the capital city, and free 2-hour delivery there. As far away as Gonzales. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They truly will steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. Back to the Riverbend, back to Dante Street. Frank Brigsten for a few more minutes. Hey, Frank, what you got as far as fish tonight? I love your approach to that. You don't go to the your purveyor and go, I want speckled trout, I want flounder. You go to your purveyor and you say, what's the freshest stuff you got?
That's exactly what I do, and fish has been tight, man. We currently do not have Meunier fish on the menu because I can't get anything that works. But I think we'll be getting some flounder very, very soon from the East Coast. He had some this week, but they were too small. I mean, like 1 pound fish, no good for me. So we're fingers crossed on that. We're using striped bass for our broiled gulffish with crab meat crust and lemon crab sauce, garnished with sauteed mushrooms. The redfish, of course, and our biggest seller, we have an entree of grilled redfish with smoked corn sauce, chipotle black bean salsa, and it's drizzled with some avocado sour cream. This dish is like black and redfish, but we do it on a griddle, flat top griddle.
Wow.
And it is a knockout dish, highly recommended and very, very popular.
Those fish dishes, the Shell Beach diet, the seafood platter, none of it fried. What are some other seafood items appetizer, entree on the Brigsten's menu. Of course, my favorite, the barbecue shrimp. I think the best version of that anywhere in the world.
Thank you, Corey. Yeah, we do have barbecue shrimp always. We get nice fresh shrimp from the shrimp lot in West Wego a couple of times a week. So it's right out of the boat. Sauteed on high heat with black pepper, rosemary, Lee and Perrins garlic seasoning, a little touch of Abita beer. We reduce that down, add a little stock, and finish it with a lot of butter. And that's served with a shrimp kala, which is a rice griddle cake with diced shrimp in it. Soak up all that buttery sauce.
Yep.
Also, our shrimp remoulade, that's a consistently good dish in terms of popularity, and it's the prettiest dish that we do. And we serve it in a rather unique way. Shrimp remoulade with guacamole, deviled eggs, and garnished with a little slice of watermelon radish.
Wow.
And it's the prettiest dish we do. And it's a great way to start a Creole meal in New Orleans, particularly when the weather's a little warmer. It's a cold appetizer, but it's very substantial and a great combination of flavors with the guacamole and that remoulade sauce, deviled eggs. Oh my gosh!
Do you want? Is your recommendation to take a little bit of each thing and have that in one single bite?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm eating that, I would take my fork and go into the sauce, into the guacamole, and then into the shrimp. As you go along eating the dish, you pick up a deviled egg with some guacamole and remoulade. Wonderful, wonderful combination.
Hey, what are we missing? The pork chops on the menu?
Yeah, pork chop's still there. A 10-ounce, really tender and juicy pork chop cooked to order. We brine the pork for 15 hours, so it's always tender and juicy. And that's pan-seared, roasted at 500 degrees to finish it. And then we serve that with sauteed spinach and a Creole mustard sauce, which is maybe the simplest and most delicious sauce I know. It's Zatarain's Creole mustard, sour cream, a little bit of the cream, and then we add just a little touch of demi-glace, which is kind of gilded the lily, but it really makes it good.
Frank, we've discussed this before. Some restaurants, it's funny, like they'll have their own ketchup. And I'm like, I'm used to Heinz ketchup. I don't want this. It maybe even better quality. It's homemade. It's quirky flavor to me compared to Heinz, what I'm used to. You just mentioned Zatarain's. You mentioned Lee and Perrins. It's almost a waste of time to try to make those things from scratch, right?
Well, that's my opinion. I can't make a better ketchup than Heinz, and I can't make a better Worcestershire than Lee and Perrins. With the pandemic during COVID, we could not get Zatarain's for a while.
Wow.
And it took a year and a half before we could get gallons of it. I was buying little bottles at the grocery when they had it. And I tried other brands, and let me tell you something, it don't work.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's not even close. It's a good mustard, the other brands, but it's not Creole mustard.
No, for me, it's Zatarain's Creole mustard. It's Lee and Perrins for Worcestershire. It's French's for yellow mustard. It's Heinz for ketchup. It's Blue Plate for mayonnaise. I've never, ever bought any other mayonnaise in my life but Blue Plate.
Yeah, and those are all the brands I use. The Blue Plate I use at home, but we have Heinz, we have Tabasco, we have Lee and Perrins, we have Zatarain's. Those are the staples of our repertoire. And I bought a big bottle of Tabasco today.
Yeah.
And I buy Heinz ketchup by a bottle or two at a time. That's about all we need. We put a little bit in the remoulade sauce, and that's what we use it for.
Yeah, Tabasco's an interesting product. Like Crystal hot sauce is hot sauce. Tabasco is different than hot sauce, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like Crystal too, but the difference with Tabasco is that it's distilled. It's aged in oak bourbon barrels, actually. They buy used bourbon barrels, clean them out,
I love Crystal too. Crystal's like a hot sauce, and Tabasco's a hot sauce with a different flavor to it, it seems like.
No, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Different kind of heat, different flavor. And like I say, I like them both, and there's others I like. I really like Chef Paul Prudhomme's hot sauce. And it's a fresh pepper sauce, sort of in the line of Crystal, but they're all good. But in the restaurant, we just use Tabasco, and we keep a bottle of Crystal on hand for the guests that ask for it.
Yeah, nice. Frank,
whatever you want. We're here to please you. We want you to be happy, so we try and answer the call when we can.
No doubt. Anything we're missing before we let you go until next week?
Well, back to sports. This is a little off topic. We have all our favorite teams playing football this weekend, but one thing I'm excited about is Sunday starts the WNBA playoffs. I'm a big Indiana Fever fan. I've been watching this team all season long, watching them improve, get better. It's a fun game, man. Caitlin Clark, of course, but Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hall, Boston, all these great players. They just keep getting better and better, and it's fun to watch that development as a team. These are young players, rookies, and it's been wonderful to watch. And I don't know if they can match up to a couple of other teams in the league, but it'll be fun to find out.
Yeah, it's a 40-game regular season schedule, roughly, and then they head to the playoffs. And Angel Reese from LSU, Caitlin Clark, elevating the WNBA to an entirely different stratosphere. I mean, people like you. God. Yep.
Their attendance is probably up 500%, and their viewership is probably up 1,000%. I'm just guessing, but that's what they've done for the league. They got me watching. I tape all the games and watch them when I get home, and I'll be watching every Indiana Fever game and probably some of the other playoff games as well. It's fun.
I love the NBA. It's the best players in the world. It's a different game. I mean, the NBA is a lot of, just jack it up and shoot or dunk. And I'm not dogging the NBA. I love the NBA. But the WNBA kind of reminds me almost of the European League, where it's more fundamental basketball, playmaking, defense, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's right. And watching their development, they struggled early in the season, and they've got some cohesiveness now.
Yeah.
And the coach is utilizing their talents, just like you mentioned earlier about the Saints. She's utilizing the chemistry to make this team better as a whole.
Yep.
It's fun.
Yep. Frank Brigsten, a WNBA fan, and he wasn't, leaving out LSU, Tulane, and the Saints. Frank?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I'm wearing a Caitlin Clark t-shirt right now.
Nice. Frank, always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, KJ. Have a great weekend, New Orleans. We love you.
Yeah, you're right. That's Frank Brigsten, James Beard award-winning chef, one of the best restaurants anywhere. I don't care what city it is. I'm serious when I say that. Frank's gone now. He's in the kitchen. He's cooking. So he's not listening. But I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed with Brigtsen's. It's absolutely fantastic. And besides, like, one of the best restaurant experiences you'll ever, take part in, it is priced right. Like, I hate saying this kind of stuff, and it's a good thing Frank is gone, but if I own Brigtsen's, I would jack up the appetizers by like $2, $3, $4 each. I'd definitely bump up the entrees by like $5, $8 each. But Frank, really, it's priced right. I think it's one of the best bargains for ridiculously high quality, high end dining. You could put Brigtsen's in any city, anywhere in the world. I don't care if it's New York, San Francisco, Paris, Barcelona, wherever. Wherever there's fine dining at the highest level in the world, Brigtsen's could compete. It's that good. And like I said, priced right in a quaint little uptown, cottage, 100 years old. They're going on like 38 years at Brigtsen's. So definitely check out Brigtsen's in the Riverbend. So good. So good. Yeah, and that barbecue shrimp, absolutely fantastic. That little fritter cake Frank was talking about, I make like a salad, just real basic, like salt, black pepper, some olive oil, a little lemon juice, sort of like a Lebanese Syrian type salad. And sometimes, if you got a good fresh avocado, it's so nice because it sort of tones down the lemon, it kind of smooths it out. That barbecue shrimp is a rich dish. It's absolutely off the charts fantastic. That little fritter cake, it absorbs some of that richness. It's kind of smooths out that dish and just really puts it over the top. It's amazing just the mind and the feel and how Frank Brigsten comes up with these dishes and meshing stuff together. We're lucky. I mean, we got a good amount of chefs in town that kind of, do what Frank does. Susan Spicer at Bayona, a classic restaurant. This shrimp in coriander sauce with the black bean cake and the sour cream. I'm not really a big black bean eater. I'm not a big sour cream eater. But I cut that shrimp in half. I get some of the black bean cake, some of the sour cream. I run that shrimp through that coriander sauce. Those four things all together, the shrimp, the coriander sauce, the black bean, and the sour cream, it just is fabulous. It's one of the best appetizers anywhere. No, I mean, Frank Brigsten, Susan Spicer, they just have this instinct, this unconscious, subconscious way of knowing what's good, That's what makes them world-class chefs. Salt, pepper, cayenne, maybe some garlic powder, some onion powder. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a chef. I'm a decent cook. I can follow a recipe. I'm a good griller, but boy, I don't know how to put those kind of combinations together. Absolutely outstanding. Go check out Brigtsen's. By the way, the phone number over at Brigtsen's is 861-7610. 861-7610. See if they've got an opening tonight or tomorrow night. Tuesday through Saturday night, Brigtsen's in the Riverbend. So damn good. So damn good. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And when we're done for the day at 6 o'clock, you can go back and listen to the program, or if you missed the 4 o'clock hour. I had Michael Hecht on to start the show, and then I had Fletcher Mackel on for a few segments in a row. We were talking about what I was discussing yesterday, Tulane and indoor football practice facility, the football operations center. I think Tulane's sort of spinning their wheels, kind of going backwards right now. No timeline on getting this stuff done. John Sumrall is a winner. You don't want to disappoint this guy. You don't want to hold the door open for him to leave. Now, John Sumrall could be one and done. I mean, he did it at Troy. Right now, Tulane's 1-2, but the K-State game, and K-State's undefeated and nationally ranked. They just beat a nationally ranked opponent handily. Tulane kind of got ripped off in that ball game late when they were going in to tie it up. Two bad calls in a row. One, offensive pass interference. Second one was a missed call on K-State interfering with Tulane's tight end on a touchdown play. So Tulane, they would have been a point down with a touchdown. Could have gone for two at home right there and maybe won it, or kicked the extra point and head into overtime. Who knows? But it's just kind of a bummer when the refs kind of screw things up. Oklahoma, pick six late in the game last week. They cut it to 24-19. Tulane can play with anybody. Tulane's a legitimate, real football program. They're not the Tulane of a decade ago. Willie Fritz got the ball rolling. John Sumrall's taking that baton. He's a winner. You can just tell. You can just tell. Says the right thing, does the right thing, knows how to coach. I mean, pretty gutsy. He brings in the highest-rated recruit in Tulane football history, that five-star quarterback from Oregon. And this is an Oregon transfer. So it's like a 22-year-old kid, just 99% of the population, anyone covering college football. There's your starter. He's got a redshirt freshman. Mensah is starting at quarterback because Sumrall's like, he's better. He's better. So pretty damn impressive what Tulane's doing. I do not want to see the university, the athletic department, drop the ball and do what Tulane's done in the past, sort of, hey, how do we just tread water instead of swimming aggressively? How do we get by instead of having a winning attitude? So, that concerns me a little bit. I don't want to see Tulane, screw that up. I don't want to see him screw that up. Yeah, I'll be beelining out of here in a little while. You know where I'm going? Smoothie King right after work on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. Jay is the owner and his dad. They've got another one, the Old Metairie Smoothie King, right there on Airline at LeBar by the Rouses. Airline near Causeway. They'll take care of you, mixing up the best smoothies in town. I'll get a vanilla gladiator with banana and unsweetened strawberries. Might get a little, see, a lot of people are sneezing and coughing, maybe summer colds. I might get a little immune booster added to it, a little muscle builder, a little creatine. Tastes fantastic. You don't even know you're, putting good stuff in there, that's good for you, healthy for you. And by the way, Smoothie King has a bunch of different, categories of smoothies. It could be like a treat, like an angel food, very sweet, very tasty. You might want weight loss smoothie. You might want a weight gain smoothie. You might want a meal supplement where that smoothie will be your lunch or dinner. Lots of options. Go check out my boy Jay and his dad, Smoothie King on Jefferson Highway across from Oshner, and their Old Metairie location. Airline Highway at LeBar, Airline near Causeway by the Rouses. Now, Jay and his dad will take care of you at Smoothie King. They're about to take care of me in about 20 minutes as I roll into the one on Jefferson Highway by Oshner. Right by my hood, the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown, where Lebanon's Cafe is located. To-go order yesterday, the chicken shawarma, tabbouleh, little fried football kibbe. I still got some leftovers. I still have some of that pita bread. Throw that in the oven, get a little olive oil, a little cracked pepper, some salt. Fantastic. Some of the finest Middle Eastern food anywhere. Lebanon's Cafe. My goodness. Fall, I believe, starts Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, on the calendar, the official start of fall. In other parts of the country, it's really kicking in. I mean, my sister lives in Virginia. They get like 90 days of fall, 90 days of winter, 90 days of spring, 90 days of summer. They get like all 4 seasons, and you can really feel it. They're probably already fading into fall. The summer temperatures are being jettisoned, and the fall temperatures are coming in. We're not quite as fortunate. We don't get 4 seasons. We sit atop the subtropic zone. We're on the northern part of the subtropics. We get our summer for about 6 months, and we get our non-summer season for about 6 months. It hit like 91 or 92, I bet, today. Definitely in the 90s, for sure. So we're probably still about 3-4 weeks away, like mid to late-ish October, when we start that non-summer season, regardless of fall starts Sunday on the calendar. Not around these parts, not around here. Yeah, I was talking yesterday about Tulane, lack of vision, lack of commitment, lack of understanding D1 athletics. Earlier in the week, beloved Channel 4 morning anchor Eric Paulson fighting cancer. His doctors say he can beat it. He says he's going to beat it. I think he's going to beat it. Keep Eric Paulson, beloved in this town. He started at Channel 4 in 1978. I feel fortunate that I get out of college, and within about 6 months, I'm in talk radio business. I've been at it for about 32 years, doing what I want to do, the same profession, not changing jobs for 32 years. It's a rarity. I'm kind of an outlier. Eric Paulson at Channel 4, same job, same employer since 1978. That stuff just doesn't happen very often. Now, just mentioned in Tulane, old AD Troy Danning goes from Tulane, came from like Northern Iowa's AD, goes to Tulane, heads to Washington, the University of Washington in Seattle. He's there like 9 months. Now he's at Nebraska. I mean, just ping-ponging all around. No, the Eric Paulson types, 1978, 47 years at Channel 4. That just doesn't happen very often. Yeah, keep him in your prayers. Hey, let's end this on a positive note, huh? Steve Gleason was on the CBS Morning News earlier in the week. You can go to my Twitter, at Corey Johnson on Twitter. You can go to YouTube and just pull up Steve Gleason CBS Morning News interview. They've got a short version, about 6-8 minutes, and they got the full version, which is like over 30 minutes. What an inspiration. I mean, it's hard to think what Steve Gleason's going through. This guy just keeps on going and is such a positive force. I was mentioning earlier in the week, and call your city councilman on this. Push this narrative. I've been talking about this for years. Steve Gleason, Michelle Gleason, they got married on that little blue bridge over Bayou St. John by Cabrini High School. The neighborhood across the bayou is known as the Magnolia neighborhood. That bridge, the Magnolia Bridge. What's that, Blue Boy? Rename that bridge the Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge, the bridge they got married on. Blue Boy, you're right on the money. And what would be the short name for it, buddy? Gleason Bridge. Genius, Blue Boy, in full agreement. Yeah, call your councilman. Long overdue. Let's push that. Push that narrative. Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge on Bayou St. John. Have a great weekend. See you Monday at 4 o'clock.
Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.